Hello to all my sports card friends. A little bit more of a serious tone today for this video. I want to talk about what I feel is a pretty serious subject in the sports card hobby because I see things going a certain way, and I want to talk about some of my experiences and things that I would like to see, as we move forward as a card and hobby community. Speaking of the community, huge thank you to folks that send me things. I get this quite a bit, and I apologize. I don't do a good enough job of showcasing this on the channel. Jesse sent me some Breeze cards here recently and also sent me a Breeze bobblehead. Adam at Sports Card Collector Chronicles YouTube channel, great YouTube channel, sent me a Breeze Funko Pop, my first Funko Pop. I'm not really a big collector of Funko Pops, but anything Drew Brees is awesome. Adam, I very much appreciate you, and definitely check out his YouTube channel. And then, of course, when I was in Atlanta at Culture Collision, Flippin' Steve walked up and he handed me a couple of old-time Saints, some of the best Saints actually that ever played. Ricky Jackson autograph, authentic autograph, and Willie Roaf. My God, we need Willie Roaf so bad. I would take a 50-year-old Willie Roaf or 50s Willie Roaf right now on our line to help us out. He could probably still play better than some of our current linemen. And then Michael Hamm gave me some Saints cards as well. And he's a Bucs fan, so for him to give me Saints cards, and he does this quite a bit when I see him, handing me a stack of Saints cards. So it's a reminder of just kind of how amazing people are. Michael Golden even sent me a Stranger Things Christmas ornament. I mean, it's just amazing. All right, I said in the title, we're going to get personal today. I want to talk about my youngest son here in today's video. I'm going to wrap it into hobby card stuff as a whole. But my youngest son, for those that don't know, is autistic, neurodiverse, and it's very interesting. I have 4 kids, and he is the youngest. So I had kind of a certain way of parenting, kind of going all the way through with my first 3. And of course, each individual is different, so you have to kind of tailor parenting to each one. I don't really believe in an umbrella approach, and especially not when I had my 4th, because it really taught me a lot about the need for patience really in all situations. When you have a special needs child, it just changes your entire viewpoint and the way that you have to operate. And I think probably made me better overall. And with him, it's so frustrating because he's so brilliant, and he is so misunderstood at times too by his peers, by other kids that are his age. They just don't really understand him sometimes, the social part. Incredibly intelligent and just looks at the world in a different lens. So for an example, if he walks into a classroom and all the kids are doing jumping jacks, typically, a kid walks in, they're going to do exactly the same thing. They're going to fall in line. They see all the other kids are doing jumping jacks. They go ahead and jump in and do the same thing. For him, and I think for other neurodiverse folks, they don't do that. They'll question kind of like, why is everybody doing this? They get kind of awkward. They're not sure exactly what to do. And sometimes that can be misconstrued as behavioral problems, which again, it just drives me nuts. My wife and I have been going through this for years. He's about to turn 9, so he's kind of like through elementary school. We've kind of seen this where he's excelled in a lot of areas academically, and then just on the, in quotation marks, behavioral side, he's just had struggles kind of conforming to the group. And I think that's an interesting topic as a whole, is conforming. I was at, I think, the Philly card show last year, or maybe it was the National last year, but it struck me. There was this image. I saw probably a 35, 40-year-old guy, and he was at the show, but he was sitting on the ground. And I noticed him, everyone else is standing, walking around at tables. He was sitting on the ground, and he was rocking back against one of the tables, one of the booths that were set up. And my son does exactly the same thing to kind of just cope when he's overly stimulated. A lot of times he'll do that just to kind of balance himself, just to kind of get back and level set. And that's just a coping mechanism that he has. But if you're someone just kind of out in the world, you notice this in public, it kind of shocks you a little bit because you're like, why is this person sitting on the ground? And it's just, overstimulation and just trying to kind of gather themselves a little bit. And I noticed that, and I was just thinking, man, that might be him in 30 years. And it very well might be that, depending on how things go, he could be living with my wife and I for his entire life. It really just depends on a variety of different factors. So how does this pertain to the hobby and cards? I'll wrap that in now. I wanted to offer a little bit of a background, but he came in Pokemon cards, and once he gets into something, he dives deep. He learns all the characters. He understands what they evolve into. He is a Pokemon wizard. But what happened here recently, this past football season, of course, I'm not unhappy about it. He got huge into football. And the entire football season, he's just been following the Saints, obviously, because that's our team, but then also following other players. He watches all sorts of different YouTube videos, highlight videos. He's watching past plays. He's reminding me of like the Minnesota Miracle. I'm like, buddy, please, we don't need to rehash these nightmarish Saints moments. I understand, but I don't need to. He knows everything about Drew Brees. He's at least studying up on Derek Carr. I joke he's going to be, studying playbooks next week. He kind of reminds me, I always joke, he's the next Mike McDaniel, the coach for the Miami Dolphins. He's kind of seen as a quirky personality. He's like socially maybe a little bit awkward, but he's an absolute X's and O's whiz, when it comes to football. And so he kind of reminds me of that. And I joke like he is going to literally be an NFL coach one day running an offense. Now in the hobby, when it comes to young people, we're trying to drive this balance. And I think this is something that is not new. Even when going back to when I was young, you had Beckett magazines coming out, price guides, so you were aware of pricing, and this was exciting for people like me that maybe had kind of more of a business mind, that were excited about buying and selling and trading and the possibilities there. Nowhere near the amount of options, opportunities that today's youth have in the sports card space. It was really primitive going back to the late 80s and early 90s. But we are still trying to drive a balance between learning negotiation skills, kind of with young people, learning how to buy properly, sell properly, and learning negotiation skills, business skills that can help them in life moving forward. I'm a big believer in that. But I think we also can't forget this has become a rich person's hobby. It's expensive. When you look at hobby boxes, even retail at $40 or $50 for a retail box. When I was young, you could buy a pack of cards for 75 cents, $1, maybe $1.50 or $2. The more expensive packs, action-packed or 89 score, maybe $3, $4 a pack. And that was really pricey going back to 1990. But for the most part, you had access to trading cards inexpensively. Now, what I will say is today, the singles market is far more advanced to where young people have access to inexpensive singles. I did not. I did not have access unless I was trading with my buddies. For the most part, dealers at card shops, they had stuff marked up. They were running a business, but you did not have open online platforms where you could easily buy a lot of Drew Brees cards, for $20 and get 50 Drew Brees cards. That's incredible. Couldn't do that back then. But with my son, it hasn't clicked with him yet. He's not as interested in the buy, sell, trade part. He's not as interested in, when you grade this card, it increases the value of the card. My buddy's son, he's a little bit older, a couple years older. He has started to get that. And so maybe that'll come in time with my son, but it could very well be that he just never gets interested in that part. And he's just trying to collect the cool cards of the players that he likes, whether it be the Saints. He's also a big Tyreek Hill fan because of the speed, and he just likes watching Tyreek Hill play. So for certain players that he likes, just kind of collecting those cards, that might be exactly the way that he hobbies. And I think this is really important. I'm talking about the youth coming up, but we're also talking about adults here because this kind of goes into that collector versus investor, debate mindset. I think it's really good to celebrate all sides of this thing because, when we look at Fanatics, I know that, they're really trying to focus on the marketing with, the high dollar, the gambling side. It's not something we should hide from. Michael Rubin sold off his part of the 76ers so that he can participate in sports betting. They have the Fanatics sports betting platform. They're getting into card breaks and all the stuff that comes along with, the gambling side of cards. That is going to be a big focus because it does play a part in the ecosystem of sports cards. But the best marketing piece still to this day that Michael Rubin has done since he's entered into the hobby space formally buying into it is the bit that he did when he was at Burbank Cards and he met with the girl that was collecting Devin Booker cards.
All different book cards you got here?
Yes.
Wow. He's probably still sleeping. They beat us yesterday too. Listen, I'm in a card shop right now. I just asked this girl what she's looking for. What did you say you're looking for? She said she's a Devin Booker collector.
Oh my God.
She's going through all of your cards right here.
I can't believe
What you did last?
She was not holding a $1,000 Devin Booker card. She was thumbing through the 50-cent $1, Devin Booker cards at Burbank, and he was able to introduce her to Devin Booker, FaceTime with him, and then ended up sending her to a game to meet him and get a signed jersey and all that. That was the best piece of marketing that Michael Rubin and Fanatics have put out to date. And I think that they have got to lean into the lower end of cards and celebrate, hey, there's some amazing looking $1 cards. There's some great chrome cards, cool inserts that are 50 cents $1, $2, $3. And I think that we have to be really careful that we're not just celebrating the big hits and the gambling side of the sports card hobby. It's a part of the ecosystem. It is. You can argue that breakers are needed to get the product open, get the singles out to people like me that want to go out and buy the singles. But man, don't sleep on that marketing, because if you really want to grow to the mainstream audience can't afford or doesn't want to pay for a $1,000 hobby box to then open, or even a $500, even a $200 box. Look, this is $200 is a hell of a lot of money for trading cards. And then you open the box and maybe you get $30, $40 out of the box, and then maybe you're grading the cards to try to get some money back. I mean, look, we have got to celebrate other parts of the hobby. There's a variety of different things to do here. And when it comes to marketing, and also when it comes to, just anybody in the space, you have got to also put content around, hey, so-and-so just got a sweet $5 card. And that be normal. That be cool. Because the big cool thing right now that I'm seeing is, oh my God, the one of one, Black Pandora, zebra eel skin, whatever the hell thing was pulled out of this massive box. And it's just so redundant. It's just so redundant. The logo man, so damn redundant. I don't even care. And then I think, God, someone spent $1 million on this year's logo man of whatever. They're going to take a bath probably on that card. I really hope that card companies realize that 10xing the number of collectors or 10xing whatever, hell, if you want a 2x or 3x, you got to get into the streets. You got to get down to the level of the people that are really interested in trading cards, collecting trading cards, and they're not out here buying $5,000 and $10,000 cards. There's a small portion of the hobby that's doing some of that, mixing that in for fun and if they can afford it. But most people are buying $1, $2, $3, $5 cards. They're collecting cards. They see, it's Chris Olave comes out for the Saints. Oh, he's our new first round pick. I love to get a few rookie cards. That's the attitude. And the good news is the manufacturers, they've got rookie cards that are $1 and they've got rookie cards that are $1 million. So it's all up to kind of where you are from a price point perspective. But man, Michael Rubin, hand out, base factory sets of tops down to schools. If you're really serious about that next generation, get into youth groups and hand out, give away factory sets of whatever these are. It doesn't have to be the big parallels or whatever, but just create factory set, 300 card factory set of Top Series 1 or whatever that's going to be. Get yourself on video handing it out of the back of a truck or something. Have it being delivered off to, schools around the nation. I'm pretty certain it doesn't cost a lot of money to print out base sets, package them up, and shoot them out. I doubt it costs very much at all. They've got it down to a science. And I'm not talking about colorful parallels and stuff. I'm just saying a base set of cards, introduce folks to what's going on. And I think that would have much larger of an impact than we opened up a box with a celebrity and got a Muhammad Ali cut auto out of it. Blah, 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 next. Already seen that 1,000 times. Lastly, I want to go back to my son and others like him, or just shy kids. There's a lot of kids that, maybe they don't have a ton of friends, but they really like this space. They really like cards. They love sports just like everybody else. They maybe haven't found their voice yet. For those young people that are just trying to find their way, this again is an amazing way to do that. This hobby is a really, really great way to bring people together. We've seen that over and over and over. It's endless, people talking about it's the relationships you build and blah, blah, blah. Well, with that next generation, we've got to really focus in on that. And look, a kid might seem a little bit off, a little bit different. Let's not leave those folks behind. Bring them along for the ride. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.